Hi Shuchi, how are you? Welcome to class. Hi Janatul, how are you? Welcome to class. How you guys doing? What were you doing before joining this class? Hi Faria, how are you? Okay, so let's get started. We'll just give Mayor a few more minutes to join, but he can join in any time. So yesterday you guys took these two quizzes. And the first quiz was the English literature one. So it like asked you a lot of questions about terms that you need to know in English literature, the terms you need to know in order to understand like reading comprehensions, etc., and some grammar questions. And you guys also took a math one. Now the English one, all of you guys finished, um, including Janitul. But the math one, Janitul didn't get to do. She only Shuchi, Mehrab, and Faria did. But we're only gonna probably be able to go through the English one today. I don't know, maybe both. But in the English one, I was not super happy about the grades. The highest grade in the class was 64%. And basically, that was the same range everyone else got into. 64, 64, 61, 56. So same range. So now maybe the test was a bit hard, but at the same time I took the test myself too because I went over the questions so that I can go over them today. And every question that was on that test, you guys have learned at one point or another about these terms. But it's okay. Maybe sometimes you forget it. When you're taking a test, it's a little different. But that's why we're gonna go over it today together. Try to take down as many notes as possible because there are words that are gonna be asked on this test that you answered yesterday that you're gonna need. You need to know the terms. You need to know what the terms stand for. You need to know how to appropriately use these terms in your essays and literature or literally explanations or analysis whenever you do English homework. These are very important stuff. Okay, especially if I point out one specific thing about how you should definitely know this, you should write it down. So get like a piece of paper ready. We're gonna do a lot of like explanation today instead of questions. because I want you guys to understand everything that you did yesterday. Probably not going to specify who got what question wrong, even though I have that, because I just rather go through it. If you know that you didn't understand a specific question, because then when I get to that out of the 67, and you're like, oh, this is one of the questions that I struggled with yesterday, write down, hey, I struggled with this, or help me with this one, like immediately as I'm going to that question. You guys are all 7th and 8th graders. I expect you to be very independent and be able to understand that these things are important. So I would trust you guys to take down notes as I'm explaining and understanding and asking me questions on your own. This is online class, so I'm not really there to supervise. If you do a video conference though, which I think I'm going to start with this class when I'm thinking on it, then I will be able to see you. But regardless, go through all of these questions yourself as I'm doing it and ask me questions. That's the main thing we're going to do today in class. Okay, so the first question was very easy. Not sure how many of you got it wrong or right, because the other thing that I usually do with these types of, when I go over these exams, is I have a review thing. That's it. This test is not letting me do that. But what is the main idea of a literary work? So any literature is known as a literary work. It could be poems, it could be essays, it could be passages, it could be nonfiction, it could be fiction, short stories, long stories, play. Doesn't matter. Everything has a main idea. TV shows have main ideas. Films have main idea. Main idea basically means what's happening, what is really happening. In order, everything, if you watch a movie, if you watch a TV show, if you watch like anything, or if you read a book, you realize there's a story that's being told, and within that story there is this one idea that's really being emphasized, and everything else, all the other stories that are being told, are basically to support that idea. So that is the main idea. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, so I also wanted to write down theme. It's a message. It's usually within telling that story, the author often wants to send a message for the readers. The filmmaker wants to send a message for the audience. Everything is telling you a message. It could be any type of message. It doesn't always have to be a very profound message, a message about humanity or the world or how we're living and all of that. It doesn't have to be. It could be a simple message, okay? And that is the theme, okay? So one of the two very common questions that you guys have answered through your educational career from 3rd grade to 7 and 8 of taking the state test were these two: understanding the main idea and understanding the theme of the stories of the passages that you guys have read. And it doesn't end here. State test may end, but the next step you do in English language arts, the regions, studying for the SAT, going to college, writing essays on different literature you read in college, will always focus on these two ideas. You need to understand the main idea and the theme of everything that you read. Otherwise, you will never be able to write a proper analysis on the literature. Okay? A verbal. Okay? A verb form that functions as a noun, adjective, or adverb. A verb form that only functions as a noun. Any phrase beginning with to, a verb form that only functions as an adjective. Okay, so I want to show you guys what a verbal is with details. And the reason being, yesterday I noticed on this test especially, there were several questions about verbals, and some of them were a bit confusing. Okay, so Okay. It's a verb that acts as another part of speech. And maybe I went over with this class the different parts of speech, maybe I didn't, but you guys know what they are. So it could be a noun, it could be an adjective, and it could be an adverb. The different parts of speech are noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, and adverb. These are the different parts of speech. And verbal is only when a verb is acting like not a verb, but either one of these. Okay? The three different types, so you should write these down. 3 different types of verbal. So number 1 is infinite. Infinitive, sorry. Participle, and gerund. So please copy this down before I get into each one of them, what they are. Write what this verbal is and the 3 different types of verbal that you need to know: infinitives, participle, and gerund. Write these 3 things down. Write on the chat you're done when you're done writing, and then I'm going to go through each one of them separately before we move on to that question, because I want to make sure you guys understand it. Perfect, Paria. Give everyone else a few more seconds. Good job, Shuji. Good, good, good. All right. Hopefully you guys are done. So the 3 examples I mentioned participles. That's the first one we're gonna do. Jantul, still, are you on here with us on the chat or are you not? Also, Jantul, you need to finish the math exam. So if you want to take this time to do that maybe and watch the video later to understand the questions, go for it. I can give you the code because I want you to finish it before I go over that one with everybody else. So a participle is a variable that functions as an adjective. This is the one that works as an adjective. So it basically modifies a noun or a pronoun modifies as it changes pronoun and works as an adjective. For the noun. For example, applauding, the audience gave the singers a standing. Applauding. So usually applaud, this word applaud over here, it's a verb. Is when you clap. And to clap, it's an activity, so it's a verb. But in this sentence, we're using it as an adjective. So applauding, comma, the audience. So who were applauding? The audience was. Gave, but at the same time, they're doing two things. They're applauding and they're giving the singer a recognition. Gave the singer a recognition. So in this sentence, remember when I said a sentence needs to have a subject and a verb and they need to go hand in hand? In this sentence, the noun is my audience and the subject, and the verb in this sentence is gave. So this is the subject, this is the verb. The subject is doing something. To who? To the singer. This is the object. The subject, which is the audience, gave the singer a recognition. But the audience were specifically something. What were they? They were applauding. And this is kind of describing what the audience is doing. So therefore, that's why it's working as an adjective. Does that make sense? Am I making it clear for you guys, or you guys are confused? As long as you understand a little bit of it, you don't really need to know each name, participle, infinitive, all of this. Most of us don't remember it from a day-to-day except for teachers. But you need to know how they work, though. You need to know sometimes you can use a verb as a noun. And when you're writing and you're using a noun, verb as an adjective, you need to see if it works. So that's why you need to know the idea. So let me know if you're understanding what I'm saying here. Applaud is a verb, but we added ing to it. And what is modifying is the audience. Remember, it modifies a noun or pronoun and works as an adjective for that noun. For that noun. So this applauding is modifying this audience, which is the noun, and it's working as the adjective for this noun. All right, so can I go to the next page, because I'm going to give you guys more examples. If you didn't finish copying it, just go back a little bit from the live point of the class and watch it. All right. Okay, so if Jonathan, if you're still here, please say something on the chat so I can show you the code for the math exam, so that you can finish that up while I'm explaining this with everybody else, and then you can watch this video later to understand. That way I can go over the math exam with everybody at like 12:40. Okay? I'm being very ambitious about finishing this English one. I don't think actually I will be able to, but I'll be able to go over tomorrow if you can finish it before. Another example. Running finish line. Callie smiled and threw her hands into the air. Right? Because she just finished running and she passed the finish line. Okay? And she has a big smile. Now in this one, run is a verb, but I am using running here. And what am I using it as in? I am using it as a adjective. I'm using this as an adjective for who's the noun in this sentence? Callie. Okay? So what is Callie doing in this sentence? She's my noun. Smiled is my verb. Subject verb. She smiled and she threw. Subject, Callie, and verb. Right here, verb. She smiled and threw her hands into the air. So this part of it is already a good sentence. Okay, you could just write this. Kelly smiled and threw her hands into the air. But we have no idea why Kelly did it. We understood Kelly is happy. That's it. She's probably just smiling and throwing her hands into the air because she feels like it. There's nothing wrong with that. But by adding this extra part to the sentence, okay, which is not a complete sentence, but so we're adding like a clause, like a different part in the beginning, we're modifying not only our subject here, but the entire sentence and giving us the information, giving the reader the information that the reason why Kelly is smiling and throwing her hands into the air is because she ran towards the finish line. Possibly she finished the marathon, because usually the only time you run towards a finish line is when you're in a running competition. All right, so this just in one sentence, just by adding that extra clause in the beginning, I just added so much more depth to my writing. I've already explained what just happened, okay, in a very grammatically correct way, because I used this verb run, and I made it into a verbal by adding ing and made it into an adjective form, my noun, and gave more information. Okay, so that's another example of a participle. Another one, I'm going to just write on the bottom. Actually, no, I'll go to a fresh new page. If you didn't get to copy it, you can always just go back a little bit and copy. This one is a little different. So this one doesn't come in the beginning of the sentence like the other ones. This one is the smell. Who's still with me? If you're still with me in this class, please say something in the chat. It's getting a little lonely out here. The smell of burned toast filled okay, so the smell of burnt toast filled the kitchen. Read it very carefully. Look at it. Remember I told you main parts of the sentence is the subject plus verb. I don't know when I told you this, maybe the other day, but you guys know it. There's always a main subject and the verb that's associated with the subject. What is the subject of this sentence? Who can tell me what is the subject of this sentence? Try it. Are you guys confused? It's a bit tricky. Okay. Is it the smell or is it the burnt toast? Which one? Faria, can you tell me? Okay, Faria, you think it's the burnt toast, which is a common thing to think. But it's not. It's the smell. Okay? The smell filled the kitchen. Can that be the sentence? Yes, it can. The smell filled the kitchen. Also, guys, if I ask a question, please just answer anything. I just don't want to have awkward silence in the video. Just answer anything. Doesn't matter if you're not the right answer. I don't care. You're learning. The smell of burnt toast. So the smell filled the kitchen is a complete sentence too. It has the subject, the smell, and it has the verb filled. We just don't know what the smell is. So that means this part is actually my verbal, specifically this one. This is